Kyle Austin, Mike Griffith from MLive.com here at National Signing Day at Michigan State. Mike, the Spartans added 22 new players today. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, I guess when I look at Michigan State's roster, their signing day roster, I see guys from all over the country, Kyle. I see 7 guys from west of the Mississippi River, and when I count up the guys from Mark D'Antonio's first 8 classes, I think come up with 5 or 6 combined from all those years. So you see Michigan State with more of a national presence. I think they're more talented guys year after year after year. The classes keep getting bigger and better. And this year's class, I guess you'd start out with L.J. Scott, a running back that looks like he might be able to come in and compete right away for carries.
Yeah, you look at Michigan State's top 2 running backs last year. They're both seniors, so not a lot of experience coming back. And he will be in the mix. I mean, they came out and said it. He's a guy that Ohio State wanted quite a bit and recruited him to the end. He's in their backyard. So a very high-caliber guy, a 4-star. And, not a whole lot of guys usually get in the mix as a freshman in this program, but he's one of them.
Right. Another area where Michigan State's got need is at cornerback. Mark D'Antonio's pretty much left both of those starting positions open, and it sounds like he's going to throw 4 or 5 of these incoming freshmen at the cornerback position. Josh Butler was a guy that was highly recruited out of Texas. We've heard about Khalil Gaines. One of the Dowell brothers has the potential to play some corner. So a lot of these guys are going to come in. Tyson Smith, Orchard Lake, at least 4 guys are going to be coming in, jumping into that cornerback spot. And Coach D'Antonio is going to give them a chance to win the starting job this fall, which makes the spring even more important at running back and corner because it's going to establish a pecking order. Because when those freshmen come in, they're going to have opportunities. So it really kind of heats up spring football, I think.
Yeah, they started winter conditioning here yesterday, so it feels like we just finished the Cotton Bowl, but we're already talking about 2015. Spring practice is in about a month. Late April there for what are the biggest position battles you'd say we're looking at?
Well, we talked about running back a little bit. We know Delton Williams comes back, but I just talked with Dave Warner, and he said he's going to go into the spring with it being wide open. We know the 2 cornerback positions are open as well. I think I would say there, I think maybe the safety position looks to me maybe like Monte Nicholson and R.J. Williamson kind of got that. I think middle linebacker is a position to keep an eye on. Riley Bullitt, John Reschke kind of battling it out there. I'm not sure if John's going to be able to go through spring, but Riley will. And then I think the outside linebackers are clamped down. And then on the defensive end position, you got Shalik coming back on one side. Demetrius Cooper will try and hold the other spot. I think you'll see some competition at tackle between Malik McDowell and let's see, who am I missing at defensive tackle? Between Malik McDowell and Joel Heath, the guy that started there earlier in the year. Malik started in the Cotton Bowl. And then on the offensive line, you got 5 guys with starting experience back. I think Miguel Machado is going to try and battle for a spot. Receiver positions, though, you got Aaron Burbridge and Kings back with some experience. Maybe an incoming freshman. Maybe Felton Davis can fight his way in the rotation. But for the most part, I think it's going to be in the offensive backfield and a cornerback.
I thought something interesting about today's press conference was how vocal Mark D'Antonio was about one of their incoming players, Drake Martinez. Kind of an interesting situation, went to Nebraska. Sounds like he actually got pretty ill, went home, ended up at a junior college. Now he's back, but because of a Big Ten rule, he's not going to be able to play immediately. He's going to only have 2 years of eligibility, where, according to Antonio, every other conference would let him play immediately and have 3 years of eligibility. And he's basically starting a PR campaign today to try to get this rule changed or get him a waiver, which is not something we really see Mark D'Antonio do.
No, you don't see Mark D'Antonio fight in City Hall very often. Usually he's very within the rules, but he thinks this rule is unfair. He thinks under the circumstances that Drake Martinez should be able to play right away. He points out that he's got his academics in order. He points out that this was an illness, not a choice to leave school or being asked to leave school. So, I think he's got a good case. So they're going to file a petition on behalf of Drake Martinez for him to be able to play right away. And obviously he's a guy, 6'2", 215, that could compete right away at that nickel linebacker position, like we've seen Mylan Hicks play and Jarris Jones the last 2 seasons. But, so while we talk about getting immediate help at corner and getting immediate help at running back potentially, you've got some real pillars, guys that are going to come in future years. Raekwon Williams, this defensive lineman out of Chicago, they're really high on. Or Cassius Pete, another guy that looks like a defensive end that could play right away. Kari Willis, a guy that's going to get thrown in at safety. D'Antonio talked about him playing special teams.
Yeah.
So that's the right there. That's your cue that he plans on using this guy as a true freshman.
Yeah, funniest story today I thought was Harlan Barnett, if you'll remember, the defensive coordinator, showed up with the torn Achilles early in the season. Turns out Kari Willis backed him down in a basketball game under the hoop and tore his Achilles. So that was the funniest part.
Yeah, well, yeah, and Coach D'Antonio was in a happy, joking mood,
Yeah,
which again, that tells you everything. In fact, Kyle, I asked him if he was going to want 50,000 at the spring game again, and I said, well, yeah, you probably should. He goes, well, why not 60,000 then?
Wow.
So he didn't get 50 last year. He got 35, but he's going to be asking the Michigan State fan base for 60,000 people at the green and white game. So Coach D'Antonio with some big goals, feeling really good about his program today.
All right, well, that'll do it from Spartan Stadium. Mike's got a lot of stuff up today at mlive.com/Spartans about all these new guys. We're going to have a lot more throughout the night, so stay with mlive.com. Thanks.